Hi guys, my name is Tracey Marley. As it suggests down the bottom, Kirsten and I are going to take you through this very important training today. And once you get your habits into practice, there will be nothing to stop you. It will just show up in the figures. It absolutely is it's just imperative that you start to track your habits. And we're going to break that down into how little steps you need to get this right and to get this actioned for your business and for your life in general, your health, your wealth, your fitness, all of the things that are important in life can be put down and tracked as a habit. The practice of a pro. This is about building success through habit tracking. So, not just saying as you go to bed, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get lots of work done. It's more than that, it's deeper than that, and there's more accountability involved. So, building success through habit tracking. Small habits equal big results. And we've all heard of the compound effect, right? That's another great book, but we chose habits and habit tracking for this example here today. In network marketing, it is extra crucial. Why habits matter in business. Success is not built overnight. Do we not know that or what, you guys? It is not built overnight. It's built daily. And those who have habits set in practice for every day, day in and day out, are so many more times likely to make it. And I think, especially in network marketing, a lot of people start, they try a few things, they don't do it consistently. And unfortunately for them, they can easily think to themselves, this isn't for me. And then the excuses and the doubt move in. But if your goal is the habit and not the actual outcome, that's where we can see real success. Habits create consistency and consistency compounds. That's the key. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. How cool is that one phrase? You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And this is your systems that you put in place, and you're going to set your own habits. And they're going to vary from person to person who works through the day, who doesn't work, who wants to do this full time, who wants to just pay off a credit card a couple of times a year. It's going to vary greatly, but it's going to be up to you guys to be your own boss, set your habits, and track them yourselves. Next, the habit loop. We want a cue, a craving, a response, and then the reward. Recognize the loop and design habits that serve your business. For example, the cue might be when you get up in the morning, instead of rolling over and grabbing that phone, put your hand up. I know I can't see them, but I'm pretty sure most of us have fallen into that trap. I've got mine up. I actually did that this morning, like a naughty. But consciously, I smiled to myself and thought, just a quick look. And then I got up and started my morning habits. You may like a coffee in the morning, and the craving could be stillness versus reset. You might like to turn that into meditation. I love 10-minute meditations on Google actually that talk me through manifestations, etc. But that may look different for you. You may like complete silence. You may like your bare feet on a wet grass in the morning, which is phenomenal for the kidneys. But we won't go into pressure points and Chinese medicine. But you can dig deep, and if you start to do these things every single day, you will become a new version of yourself. 10 minutes of personal development, I love. If you read, you could reach over, pick up your book, read for 10 minutes, or like I like to do, put Audible on and pick up a couple of pages per day. Whilst you're listening, and you could do that while you're exercising, stretching in the morning, doing yoga, or even while you're buttering toast for the kids before school. The reward, of course, is energy and motivation for the day to set you up grounded and ready to be productive and rock and roll. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Again, that same line. Write that one down or screenshot that. I love that. That would be a fantastic Facebook or Instagram post from somebody that's building a business online, adding value to your social media. Pop that in chat GPT and say, write me a post around this one phrase and see what comes up for you talking in that language, because it's going to have rebounds for you, this training. I know that it is. Tiny gains, like we've already heard today, small improvements. And today we had a couple of you amazing ladies and John share their little gains. But did you notice one thing through every single story was the joy and the smile and the proud energy that came with that execution and closing sales for the first time in how many months? 3 or 4 months, one of us? Very, very cool. 1% better daily equals massive growth over time, the compound effect. Example, a daily habit of 3 reach outs equals 1,000 connections per year. I love doing this with my team. This is a term that we use, reach outs. How many reach outs would you like to do a day? And early on, as a leader, helping teams build and build businesses online, often I would say, okay, let's jump on a Zoom. We still do this today in our team. Let's jump on a Zoom. How many reach outs have you done? Oh, I would have messaged 20 people since Monday. Okay, great. On what platform? Facebook. Okay, great. Let's open Facebook. Let's give them a count. And what feels like 20 can often be 4. And it's irrelevant why that is, but it feels like if we're looking at people and thinking about what we're going to say and rewriting what we're going to say and commenting about, such and such as puppy online, it can feel like we have done a lot of work. But it is amazing. Once you start tracking your habits, you can get to the bottom of your own life and your own business, discovering how little amount of work that you may be doing actually. Connection work, real connection work. So by habit tracking and setting that set goal, regardless of how tired you are, how busy you are, how you're driving all day and you never had time, you had to be here and you had to be there, there's always somewhere that you can stop and have 3 conversations, even if it is just via message. In my generation, I'm 51 soon, phone calls are best. Of course, as the generation gets younger, messages these days are also acceptable. In business, small actions build big momentum. As Kimbra said today, she's done something that she had never done before, and I really am really keen on keeping an eye on how big this leg grows from a couple of gentlemen that she ran into at the shops. The 4 laws of behavior change. Number 1, make it obvious. Track habits visibly. So if you're an old girl like me, you may have a diary that you carry in your handbag everywhere. One pen. I've been carrying a diary forever. That apparently is a little bit old-fashioned. Some of you have digital apps that have all your notes, etc., for the day. I've also got a 2 meter whiteboard behind me. It's to the left of my picture that I have here, but 2 meters of whiteboard and markers. I also carry whiteboard markers in the side of my door in the car because whiteboard markers work very good on windows. So wherever I am, I always track my habits and keep myself accountable. And guys, it's a really great idea to have an accountability buddy as well in your team, sister line, somewhere that you can reach out to and then go back and forth. Okay, I've done my habits today. You could just do a little thumb to each other every morning or every evening, or just when you've finished your habits, to keep each other accountable. Oh my gosh, the growth that happens from this system is incredible. Make it attractive. Link habits to rewards. And for me, linking a habit to a reward is just the joy that we saw today when it works. Oh my gosh, I did 5 conversations in 7 days and 4 people have joined my business. Is that not reward enough? But if you want to go overboard, you could buy yourself a Louis Vuitton, whatever works. Number 3, make it easy. Start small, 1 conversation a day. 2 liters of water a day, 10 minutes of yoga, or touch my toes 3 times, stand up 3 times, touch my toes 3 times, 5 star jumps, 1 page of personal development. I'm really big on exercise, as you can tell, in the mornings to get going, but that may vary for everyone as well. Number 4, make it satisfying. Celebrate progress. And as much as I have mentioned in number 3 that we would like to start small, but also we want a little bit of push. Magic doesn't always happen where we are comfortable. So if you feel like doing one reach out a day, maybe just make it 2, just for Tracey. Like every time you do the second one, that's for you, Tracey. Because I like to see a little bit of stretch, something that you've never done before, because you've never been who you are going to be tomorrow, right? That's what we want to do. We want to be a different version tomorrow. I love that one. Habit tracking for network marketing. On the right is Atomic Habits. I saw Wayne post this not so long ago. It is a beauty. I have it here on my desk. It changed me. I read this maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, and I'm always going back, having a listen on Audible every now and then on one of my long driving trips. And just when you think you've got your habit tracking down pat, you will re-listen to this book or listen to it to the first time, and there's just so much depth you can go, and there's so many breakthroughs and so many great ideas. And as leaders, and we're building teams, these books that we reference you every week, they're great for you, but at the end of the day, you are becoming and stepping into leadership of your own team. So the tools that you will learn in this book that you can duplicate throughout your team for year in and year out is so, so important. It will change you on a global level, if you like, within your team. Use a simple tracker, paper, app, and whiteboard. I was telling Kirstyn the other day, the first time I read Atomic Habits, I went to the stamp guy, and I got myself a stamp and an ink pad, and I had my habits written there. I think I had 6 my first time, 6 habits, and then a line, and I would stamp that on every day in my diary. How old-fashioned am I? Stamp it every day, and I would sign my signature like it was a contract to myself, a little TM, TM, TM every time I ticked that off. I should have dug through the drawer just to read out an example of what my habits were back then. My habits a decade ago are so much different to my habits now, because they were for Tracy Marley, and now they're for on a team scale. So be willing to nail your habits and then add to it, add to it, add to it. Habits to track daily. And here again, we've got some examples, and I like to throw in 2 liters of water. That's always a great habit, you guys, to remain at your optimum health. Reach outs, like I say, how many conversations would you like to complete each day? No matter what. What is the goal and the deal that you are going to make with yourself? But when we do reach outs, we have to then go back and do follow ups. Or if somebody says, yeah, sure, I'd love the information. And in a few weeks' time, we will go through the system of asking. We never send out all of the information in the first ask. We ask, we pique interest, and then when they come back and say, yes, please, could you send me out some information? I always write that name down so that you don't forget a follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. It's a saying that goes way back to the beginning of Amway, and it is. I cannot stress to you guys how many times somebody has said to me, "Oh gosh, yes, I forgot to look. I'll go and watch that now," and then in 20 minutes, Trace, I'm in. The fortune is in the follow-up. I could give you so many versions of why that's important, because guess what I've also seen in my years of network marketing? I've also had people come to me from the team and say, I can't believe it. I'm at a conference. I can't believe it. There's a girl over there on that table, and I spoke to her 6 months ago about this business, and she never got back to me. Did you get back to her? Well, no. Bang, what happens? It's the follow-up. It's critical. Social media posts, you may say to yourself, okay, Every day I'm going to do an Insta story, a Facebook story, and I'm going to post an Insta post and a Facebook post and 2 stories a day. How many of you could vision how much algorithm change your current situation on social media would become? Again, I know the boys, and Terry often mentions that he doesn't build or concentrate a lot on social media, and you guys don't need to. We incorporate that because that is a current modern day free tool which will increase your accessibility to people internationally, and your algorithms will increase with regular posts and activity. Product use. That's definitely put that on the tracker, because even some of you on this call have said to me, "Oh, I keep forgetting to take my fix of a morning." So you can put your fix on there, your Emulin and your NZ Fulvic. Personal development, of course, I've gone over and over on that. And just keep collecting these books. We know you may not be at the point where you're listening to one full book a week. Your life will change if you do, just saying. But if you're not, just keep them there and make your way through them as thoroughly as you can. What gets tracked gets improved. I love that. And there's the book on the right-hand side, as I say. So to introduce her properly, this is the amazing Kirstyn. Thanks, Kirstyn.
Thanks, Trace.
Welcome.
Okay, so identity-based habits. So most people set goals like, I want to hit this rank by a certain time. I want to make X amount of dollars per month. But the goals, they don't create consistency. So identity does. And James Clear says in the Atomic Habits that the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. So instead of asking, what do I want to achieve, ask, who do I want to become? And I also love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've studied a fair bit of his work as well. And he's talking in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's a great book. And is talking about beliefs and your habits and what you're stuck in. But he says that your personality creates your personal reality. So if you want a new reality, you must become a new person. So that means letting go of the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of our old self. So what we don't want to be anymore, we've got to let that go, let it go in the past. And then rehearsing the new self until it feels natural. And we've seen that in some of the results that you have shared with us earlier in the call today. So this is where once we change our belief system, change our habits, we then can feel, it just feels natural. So it's not just doing the reach outs, it's being the kind of leader who connects daily. So Atomic Habit says to us, the goal is not to read the book, the goal is to become a reader. So that's a habit of becoming a reader. And some of Dr. Joe's wisdom is to break the habit of being yourself. You have to think greater than the way you actually feel. So there's some special little insights from both those thought leaders. And there's Dr. Joe's book, if you haven't seen that one. So systems over goals. So goals are the results we want, and systems are the processes that get us there. So James Clear says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, as we've covered already. So in network marketing, a goal might be to earn a rank, but the system to get there is every day I connect, I invite, and follow up. And if you fall in love with the system, then the goals take care of themselves. So that's real key in and moving forward and having success in this industry. And Dr. Joe would frame it this way. So if your subconscious identity is programmed for procrastination, your goals don't matter. You'll keep repeating the old pattern. So systems retrain the subconscious by giving your brain new evidence of who you are becoming. So in Atomic Habits, it says, winners and losers, they all have the same goal. It's the systems that makes the difference. So you can imagine that in even in an athletics field. So there's always a loser because there's only ever one winner, unless they come a draw. But the systems is what makes the difference. What systems have they used to hydrate? What systems have they used to nourish their body? What systems have they used to get their mind right, and etc. So you can see that the system actually is what sets us all apart. And Dr. Joe, he says change is a choice. So instead of a reaction, it's the act of becoming conscious of your unconscious self. So that's where last session we covered some of the beliefs that we have too, because they're kind of like unconscious there. And so we need to bring them back to the surface and become conscious of what it is so we can change what we're running our show. Compounding action. So habits are like compounding interest. So small actions don't seem like much. So day to day, but over time they create exponential growth. I'll just share with you, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to do reformer Pilates because I just got so annoyed with myself that I just wasn't doing anything. So I just said, yep, right, I'm going to do it. Now, I've done 28 sessions or 29 sessions now over the last couple of months. And what I'm seeing is that muscle definition is starting to happen, and that is there. But did it happen the first day that I went? No, it did not. Did it happen the second or even the 10th session? No, I didn't really notice much change. But then when I looked in the mirror just yesterday or the day before, I noticed the definition in the legs. Some of that fatty tissue around the kneecaps is disappearing. I'm going, yes. So this is where the compounding in action comes in. And it's really something that, if you miss a day, it doesn't ruin everything. It's just if you're missing consistency, that's what ruins it. So, and Dr. Joe, his perspective on this is that every time you think and act from the new self, you wire new neural pathways. Over time, that compounds into a new identity and reality. So the compound effect isn't just external results, it's actually that internal wiring that's happening. And James Clear says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. So that's really what we're focusing on, that compound interest of self-improvement in creating the habits that we want to see for ourselves. Some people, it can be the fact that they want to, have their quiet time, their spiritual time each day, and they want to do that, and that's been slipped by the wayside. However, they want to pick that up. So that's something. So every time we make a new choice that's aligned with our future, we are neurologically wiring a new level of mind. So this is where it really is important that we stick to it. We don't give up when we didn't do it yesterday. We couldn't make it. We just pick up every new day is a new day to make a change. Okay, so now let's make this practical for the next 30 days, sorry. We're going to write them down. And if you have an accountability partner, share it with them. But what we're wanting to do is actually track them daily. So we've got to remember that success is not one massive transformation. It's a product of daily habits. So if you've had a moment, just think of the three, or take a moment to think of the 3 habits that you would like to change. And then we're going to anchor this and do just a short process. I'll get you to Just close your eyes. I just wanted you to see your old self. So this is the old version of you, the one who makes excuses, procrastinates, or plays small. Just visualize with no judgment. All we're doing here is recognizing that self that we want to let go and release. Then we're going to thank that version of ourself for keeping you safe. And then we're just going to release it. And as you're feeling that release go, we're going to actually, in our mind, we're going to step forward into our new self. So this is the leader who grows daily, connects consistently, and commits fully. So that feel that identity in your body. Just feel it through to the fingertips, down to your feet, to the top of your head. Allow it to go through the core. Just feel that going through. We're going to anchor that in as truth. So the leader you are now becoming is the one who grows daily, connects consistently, and commits fully. Take a big deep breath in and just let that go. Feel how that is in your body. So now when we're writing down our 3 habits, we're not just tracking tasks, we're reinforcing our new identity. That is what we're doing here in that exercise. And that will change as you evolve in your leadership. What that looks like will change daily. And the more that you track your habits, keep yourself on task, the quicker that will happen and evolve. So I just want to recap for you too, with the 2 thought leaders that we've got with James Clear and Dr. Joe. Just a couple of points that the identity becomes, the identity before the outcome happens. And this James Clear, in his book, he talks about the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. So for me, for example, with the Pilates reformer, it just becomes part of who I am, part of my week, 3 times a week minimum. If I get more in, fantastic. So I've created a habit now that everything else has to fit around. Then Dr. Joe, he's basically, you'll see it through any of his work, is that your personality creates your personal reality. So to create a new reality, you must become a new person. So success isn't about what you achieve, but it's who you become in the process. And then system over goals. So James Clear makes it really clear through his work that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And then Dr. Joe changes a choice. Instead of a reaction, it's the act of becoming conscious of your unconscious self. And then the systems retrain both your behavior and your subconscious patterns. So as you're bringing these systems in, that's what you're doing. And you find that it's just natural. You know, like you can naturally just walk up to someone and just talk about things without that old pattern coming back and haunting you, so to speak. And the compounding effect. So habits are compound interest of self-improvement. So it's very clear through Atomic Habits there that that's what he's talking about. And then Dr. Joe, so every time you make a new choice aligned with your future, whatever your future is that you're wanting with your goals, but when you make that choice that's aligned with your future, you are neurologically rewiring a new level of mind. So that tiny habit and repeated new choices equals exponential growth inside and out. And then number 4 is that breaking that habit of being yourself. So when Tracey was talking about, before with James Clear, just small 1% change will build momentum and an identity shift over time. Just that tiniest little bit. It's not like you've got to go out and shove a broom through everything and just change everything all at once. It's those small little shifts that make the biggest difference, because it's not overwhelming and it's something that's sustainable. And then to become someone new, you must think, feel, and act greater than your past self. So what you were in the past. So habits aren't just about behavior. They're about rewiring your brain and your body to align with the future that you're actually creating or that you're wanting to create. So everything just lines up and it keeps going forward. So the Atomic Habits gives us the system, and Dr. Joe shows us that the identity shift, together they prove this truth, that your daily habits are the bridge between who you've been and then who you're becoming. So I'll leave that with you, so that your daily habits are the bridge between who you have been and who you are becoming.